Hello and welcome to the Elevator Pitch, hosted by yours truly, Sam Borders.
And Trace Maloney, the show where we create two movies and pitch them head-to-head against each other. For those of you who don't know, an elevator pitch is a short description or plot of a movie so it can be pitched to executives in a clear way. Got a couple things to start out with. It's kind of commonplace now, but I have one extra thing I want to start out with.
Okay.
I'm currently watching my dogs. So if they start making a racket, I apologize. The other thing I want to say is, leave the podcast a rating, leave it a review. That helps it get out to other people like you so that they can listen to it and enjoy it. But yeah, now let me explain the show.
Yeah, what happens? How does this work?
How does it work? If you're
a little
a new
lost
listener,
on this.
How does this work?
I'm going to role play a new listener.
Okay.
I don't know how this show works.
So we have two wheels, new listener. We have a
Two?
wheel. Two wheels. Save the questions till the end. We have two wheels. We have a wheel filled with movie genres. We spin that wheel twice. I see your hand is raised. I said wait till the end.
Yes, sir.
We have a wheel for movie genres. We spin that wheel twice to get the genre of the movie we're going to create. We have a wheel for movie stars. We spin that twice to get 2 stars for our movie. Using those, we create a movie around those ideas. Then we do the whole process over again, and then at the end of the show, we pitch the 2 movies that we've created head to head. Now, what's your question?
Oh, I didn't have a question.
Oh, you just raised your hand?
Yeah, I had to go pee, but that's not a problem anymore. Anyway.
Nasty.
Spin the wheels.
Let's start this show up. Our first.
What a note to start on.
What a nasty note. Our first movie, first genre is.
Yes.
Comedy. It was really close to romance, but it landed on comedy.
Comedy.
It's also...
Comedy what?
It's a comedy. It's a disaster comedy.
Okay.
Who's it starring, though? How funny is this movie?
Hey, that's a good question.
Depends on the
Very
stars.
funny.
Our first star is Amanda Seyfried, returning,
Okay.
I think, for her first actual physical role that we've had her in.
Well, she was there.
Well, she was in...
It was a hybrid movie.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Anyway, who's the next person?
Our next star is... Barbara Streisand.
Welcome back, Barbara.
This is probably her third top. There's a list of 100 actors and actresses, and we constantly get repeat offenders.
I mean, hey, welcome to the club, Barbara.
Welcome to the club, Barbara. I mean, we've never got anyone like Jeff Bridges or
No?
others.
Hey, let's not worry about that. Hey, focus.
Okay, I'm
Focus up.
focused. I'm focused.
We got these 2 great actresses.
That's true. So I'm thinking off the bat, I know we do this a lot, but they have to be, or wait, do they? I was about to say they have to be tied through some relationship. What if they're not? What if
They just meet up?
Yeah, because of this disastrous situation, they somehow find each other. Or maybe, this would be a little weird. You know the movie Independence Day where there's like there's like 2 simultaneous storylines? There's like the Will Smith, or there's like 1,000 simultaneous storylines.
Yeah, there's an A, B, C, D, and E plot.
And they're all going at
movie.
the same time. And they're all equally important. There's not one that's like super important.
There's an
over the other.
A plot.
It's pretty much like that. What if we have it to where they're like both experiencing this disaster, and maybe it overlaps once or twice, but they're experiencing it separately.
But it's incidental. How about, okay, I kind of like this idea, but what if, and this may be the dumbest idea I've ever had, what if it's like 2 movies? So like the first half we see Barbara Streisand's perspective, and then the second half we see Amanda Seyfried's, and they intersect at some point, and it switches for God knows what reason. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but that's just an idea.
So it's kind of like an anthology, basically.
It's a 2-part anthology.
There's 2-hour-long anthologies, but we're stitching them together in one movie.
We don't have to do that.
We don't even have to do my idea. We can give them some sort of relationship, or maybe they work together to do something.
We'll figure it out. But we need to figure out what the disaster is.
Yeah, that's a good idea. See, the only other time we've done a disaster, it was everything. Like, it was literally...
Yeah, I don't want to do everything.
Yeah, so we have to stick to one. What if...
So here's... Okay, I have another question.
Okay.
Disasters are not all made equal.
Correct.
There are, like, an earthquake. Like a big earthquake.
Yeah.
Not everybody's gone. But like a big meteor...
Yeah, that's...
Everybody's gone.
That's pretty much world-ending.
Which one are we dealing with?
That's what I was gonna suggest. I don't know why meteor was sticking in my head, but then that gives it kind of a hopelessness, and you know, it could be...
Yeah, that's very funny.
Well,
I always love to
it could be a dark comedy, but it wouldn't be as comedic as, you know, something as a straight-up comedy.
Maybe they're like taking off their bucket lists because a giant meteor is going to destroy the whole planet.
That would be interesting.
It seems a little... I mean, I guess you said dark comedy, but that is pretty dark.
That's pretty dark. And what if by the end of it we realized that the meteor wasn't going to hit Earth after all?
That would be pretty funny.
So there's this hopelessness. There's this hopelessness, and then right at the end you see the Earth from like space, and the meteor just like barely whizzes by.
What if they're scientists?
Okay.
And they discover that a meteor is going to hit the Earth, and they're told not to tell anybody. So they go on a horrible spree of checking off their bucket list, which may involve some morally dubious things.
Yeah.
And then the second half of the movie is them dealing with the consequences when the meteor does not hit.
That's good.
Or maybe it breaks up in the atmosphere like they didn't expect it to. So
it was
still a disaster.
It was a lot smaller than they thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So instead of a meteor, it was just like a comet, and it just like burned up in the atmosphere, like you said.
Yeah.
Is
this still a disaster movie though?
See, I feel like it would be funny because it would be more of a disaster if they weren't hiding it. Like if it were public knowledge. Everyone's freaking out, and a lot of people are doing, like, and society is kind of collapsing. Not entirely.
Okay.
But there are, like, riots and, like... Looting, and there's, like, cities that are, like, breaking apart from the U.S. government. So it kind of goes into, like, martial law because everyone's like, well, we're going to die in a week, so why not just, like, go crazy? And then... there's the comedy, and they all have to kind of... it's a comet. It fizzles in the atmosphere, and then everyone
they all look up at it, and they see it happen, and they all have to realize that
they do
they all make that exact noise.
They grit their teeth, and they...
Well, turns out we are going to have to go to work tomorrow.
That would be...
I probably shouldn't cuss my boss out.
I probably shouldn't have taken a shit on my boss's floor.
Maybe that's the real disaster.
is that maybe humans were the monsters the whole time.
Humanity was the meteor. Nature is coming back.
We were the virus. Oh God. I like a lot of the ideas we've said. Should it be that one where it's like,
I do like that. I think there's comedy potential there.
There's like, and like kind of like what I said, where right at the end you realize, so there's no real time for anyone to redeem themselves. It's just like there's these funny moments of them doing some like nothing so like horrible that you're like, I can't like these people. Maybe
they don't like kill people and stuff, but they like take out too many loans.
Yeah.
They buy lots of expensive things because what's it matter? And that's why I was thinking the hiding it thing, so that other people don't know what's happening, so they're free to do these things separate from everybody. But it's less of a disaster movie then, and I get that.
So right at the end, there's all these things happening. Maybe some of okay. So instead of the first half being they think a meteor's coming, and then at the halfway point the meteor doesn't hit, the first half they're hiding it. Then it becomes public knowledge. So we're mixing both of our ideas. Then the public goes crazy, and after everyone's done more morally reprehensible things, right at the end the meteor doesn't hit, and everyone just looks at the sky and goes, Ooh, credits.
And then credits.
Credits roll. So we're getting both of our ideas. Cause
I like that.
I think the first part where they're trying to hide it, I like the idea that they're scientists. And they're trying to hide it. I like that. But they're
maybe they're told not to tell people.
Yeah, whatever.
So that makes them a little bit less. The government's like, don't tell them, because like, what's the point of that?
Yeah, we'll just like turn on more football, bread and circuses.
Exactly.
So they're like, they do that, and then they're doing funny things like they're like, you've just put like a second lien on your house. Are you like good? And you're like, I'm living my best life, as she like drinks a Slurpee in like a big fur coat with a bunch of like expensive jewelry on.
Yeah.
One of them, or maybe both of them, they're like both sitting in in one of their living rooms with their feet in a kiddie pool. And
I think one of them should be very existentially horrified about this, at least for the first
a little
chunk
bit,
of the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe that's Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah, I feel like Barbara Streisand.
I just kind of picked one.
Well, I feel like in my case, I feel like if I were older, I wouldn't care as much. And
I think there's more comedic value in that.
And the fact that she's just an older woman and like, I'm just living my best life. I don't know why I struggled to say the word life.
I don't know either.
So, okay, so let's kind of plot out this movie a little better. So we know the general plot.
Yeah. And maybe we need to maybe establish early on, set up some things for them to do later, like, oh, I've always wanted to do this sort of thing, or my boss is an asshole. Things like that, so that maybe, they can fulfill those.
Yeah, maybe it follows Amanda Seyfried a little bit more.
Yeah, and she's kind of our...
Yeah, she's kind of our main gal.
Primary character.
They're co-stars, but yeah.
Yes, they're...
Because, and again, and I know this isn't typical for everyone, but as a younger person, she's had less time to maybe experience all the things she's wanted to experience. And maybe she's more of an uptight character, so she, didn't ever go out of her comfort zone. You kind of learn this in the establishing, like, 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
I think they
first
say...
few scenes.
Yeah, I think they say the first 10 minutes has to establish the story and the plot and everything. So there's the establishment. You realize that she's this really pristine, kind of uptight person, and she wanted to do so many things. Barbra Streisand at the beginning is just kind of like a normal. She's not like a slob or anything. Yeah. She's just a normal person, a normal scientist coworker.
Yes.
And then they get readings of a meteor the size of Texas coming towards Earth.
I was going to say Texas. I hope you realize that.
Isn't that I was about to say, isn't that the biggest state? But that's Alaska.
Yeah.
It's the second biggest state. I mean, that's a pretty big meteor.
Yeah, that would, like, explode the Earth.
That would literally, yeah, that's, like, huge. So, yeah.
It's shaped like Texas, too.
It's literally just...
And it's heading directly for Texas.
Well, and then they realized that actually Texas went missing and got hurled into space. And
they didn't realize it.
And now it's coming back. No, that's not what's happening.
Are you sure?
As good as that is, I'm going to say...
I don't think that's right.
I'm going to say no. So there's a big meteor coming for the Earth. They go to report it to their, like, board of whoever, their government scientists, and then the cabinet says, "Look, we're all screwed anyway. Just let's." And it's good intentions. They don't want people to be scared.
To do what our main characters are about to do.
That as well. So they're like, let's just hide it from everyone. Don't tell anyone. Just everyone go home and, like, spend time with your families.
Yeah.
And then maybe there's a scene as they're, like, walking out of the building after they've just been debriefed by the cabinet, which is literally just like a cabinet in the break room. Like, it's a talking piece of furniture. That's good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
But no, they're like leaving the building, and Amanda Seyfried is like panicking.
Yeah.
Like you said, she has this existential, and she's like, there's so much I haven't been able to do with my life.
We're all going to die.
We're all going to die.
And then she does the pull yourself together.
She's hyperventilating, and Barbra Streisand slaps her. So funny.
It's hilarious.
Hilarious. It's a good way to break tension after your main character thinks that they're about to die. So then...
Then what?
I don't know. You talk some. I feel like I've talked a lot.
Yeah, okay. Well, you said they should go spend time with their families. Maybe they're both kind of lonely. I don't want that to be too sad, but maybe they don't have that. So they are like, okay, well, what are we going to do? Yeah. Let's go live it up in Vegas.
And okay, so that's their first kind of decision. So Amanda Seyfried. Let's give them names. Let's give them names right now.
Let's get it now. Let's do Susan.
No, I'm not gonna say
you
that.
Didn't fall
good.
For
it. I've caught on.
Darn it! I've done it too many times.
Yeah.
I feel
like and I was feeling Mary for Barbara.
Okay, Mary. That's fine with me. And Catherine. Or maybe Kat.
She goes by Catherine. She's uptight.
Okay.
So I'll let Mary and Catherine. So Mary suggests, look, we don't really have anyone else. Let's just go live it up. You're talking about all these things that you haven't been able to do. Let's go do them. And
I think what should happen is she says, let's go do that. And then I think Catherine says, no, that's not my speed. So she doesn't go. And then we have the scene, she's at home eating like junk food, ice cream and stuff.
Yeah, a big pint of ice cream.
Laying on her couch watching something like Netflix or something. Probably something sad.
Yeah.
And we see Mary in Vegas going crazy. And maybe like either that night or the next day she comes to her house and is like, I'm in like deep trouble.
God.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of things that could happen to get some intrigue started. Or do we want this to be more of a carefree sort of experience where
I think it should be more carefree, at least until people find out about it.
Yeah, I think their
so I like
the consequences should catch up to them once it gets out to the public.
Yeah. So I like your idea of Catherine kind of moping about.
Yeah. Maybe something happens on the TV.
You see,
she sees something.
So, well, there's this. She's moping about in the establishing like first couple of scenes. They're talking about, or Mary just doesn't have like a very good car, so she's moping about, and then she hears a car alarm go off and like maybe like a crash outside. And then she looks outside, and Mary has a brand new Humvee, and is like standing out of the sunroof, like beckoning her out, and she's like crashed into her car, in a funny manner. It's not like she's crashed and she's broken her leg or something.
Yeah, it's very bloody and nightmarish.
Yeah, so she's like standing out of the sunroof and like beckoning her to come out, and she goes out and she goes, "What did you do? It's my car." And then she's like, "We only have a week left to live. Don't worry about it. Let's go to
YOLO," she says.
YOLO. And then they wink directly at the camera.
And then she does the floss dance.
And she does the funny floss dance. And then she starts playing Fortnite for the last 2 hours of the film.
She battle royale.
she gets the victory royale.
And then she does the Cheeto slide.
The Cheeto slide. Oh, no, goodness.
She doesn't do that. But I was thinking maybe just before this happens.
Yeah.
Catherine sees, maybe she's like always wanted to go to a particular place or do something, and then she sees like that on the TV.
Okay.
And she's like, well, and maybe she realizes like, well, I ain't got no other time than now to do it.
Yeah.
And maybe decides to go for it, and then we hear the car alarm. And Mary Fortnite dancing.
And yeah, she's doing the funny floss dance. I just can't wait till we get this movie greenlit and one of us has to teach Barbara Streisand how to floss dance.
Are you kidding me? I would kill for that.
Are you kidding me? It'll be both of us teaching her.
That's right.
We're fucking idiots. Okay. So what does she want to do? Like, what's her big thing? You know, where does she want to go? What does she want to experience?
I don't know.
What's like a cool place to, I don't know. See, I like Vegas. I feel like Vegas is very kind of final destination type deal. Because it's got everything that anyone would want to just fuck up one weekend of their life.
I guess so.
Strip clubs, hookers, drugs, gambling, alcohol, everything. Everything you would want to do if you just were like, I'm done living.
Yeah, maybe she hasn't. I don't know how many. She doesn't seem like the type of person that was like, I always wanted to go to Vegas.
Okay. What if
she
she
sees
wanted
it on
to?
the-
What if she always wanted to see the Grand Canyon, but she never could?
Okay.
So, but this is how it plays out. They're driving to the Grand Canyon, and she falls asleep. Mary takes them to
Mary goes
Vegas instead, and Mary wants to live it up, and Catherine just wants to, see maybe Catherine's someone in Catherine's family, her father or mother, always talked about the Grand Canyon, and she just hasn't had the time to go. So then,
but she detours to Las Vegas.
She detours to Las Vegas because Catherine falls asleep, and then
it's like that scene in Dumb and Dumber.
Well,
where he accidentally goes.
Yeah, he goes on the wrong exit. There's an exit that says Grand Canyon, and there's an exit that says Las Vegas, even though they're in separate states. This is the Las Vegas exit, and this is the Grand Canyon exit. They're right next to each other. But something like that. Maybe there's a sign on the side of the road that's like Grand Canyon, so many miles. Las Vegas,
closer
or further, or whatever it would be. But she's like Las Vegas, and she just goes there instead.
Yeah, they live it up there, gambling.
Catherine doesn't want to.
Yeah.
And then they're, doing whatever they do. Then there's the scene where they're in like a big penthouse.
Yeah.
Like Mary's charging a credit card that she knows doesn't have absurd amount of money on it. Mm-hmm. So they're in this big penthouse, and then there's the scene where Catherine walks in, and Mary's in a big fur coat with a bunch of expensive jewelry, with her feet in a kiddie pool, like drinking a big glass of wine or something, and then they have like maybe a little kerfuffle.
Yeah. She's like, I didn't even want to come here.
She's like, well, whatever. They have their kerfuffle. We're not here to write dialogue.
She needs to let go eventually, I feel like, for this to really.
Yeah.
I think maybe it happens after the kerfuffle.
Yeah, she's like, listen, there's that conversation. Listen, there's only this much time left. Live your life. We'll go to the Grand Canyon later. Just live your life. And then she's like, fine. And then there's this montage of them both partying it up.
And I think right at the end of that montage, on a TV near them, they hear a news report about a meteor that's going to hit the Earth. And then pandemonium breaks out. They're like, hey,
yeah,
we need to collect on the money that you've been spending.
Yeah, we have to, we need the money, so give us the money. And like,
she says, shove it.
Yeah.
And Fortnite dances. Right on him.
She victory royale.
She defaults him.
She default dances on him. No, we can't keep going back to Fortnite.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought that was her character.
She's a granny that loves Fortnite.
Yeah, actually, in that scene where you said she has her feet in a kiddie pool, she's actually playing Fortnite.
Exactly. Instead of drinking wine, she's playing Fortnite.
Well, she is. It's just Fortnite's also there.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And Fortnite Ninja's with her.
He's there. We get a sick cameo for the kids.
For kids in this disaster comedy movie.
Yeah. So then there's like this thing, maybe
chaos breaks out,
and then they're
Fortnite Ninja's like, I want to be paid for the time I spent with you.
It's kind of like this. Great. It's kind of like this Hangover-esque like disaster where they're trying to fix everything.
Yeah, very much like that.
And then it ends. Maybe they're not standing in a crowd of people, but it ends and they finally make it to the Grand Canyon after this exhausting couple of days where they're trying to run from loan sharks and they're trying to escape a falling city.
Yeah, they have a very heart-to-heart conversation sitting on the edge of the Grand Canyon.
And then the meteor is like the tension, or not the tension, like the emotional relief, the comic relief.
And they see it fly past the earth.
They go, ooh.
Ooh.
And then there's got to be some indication that it missed. So maybe there's like one last scene or something.
Or maybe it does do the burn-up thing so that they can see it coming and then it just kind of goes...
It starts to burn in the atmosphere. They see it, and it starts to burn so much, but it lands right next to him, and it's a tiny rock now.
Yeah, just dink.
Ding. And then they're like, what? And then, yeah. So it's very obvious to the audience, just because some people may not be too bright. It's very obvious.
And then they both jump into the Grand Canyon.
And then they kill themselves.
Not really, no.
No. But yeah.
Head and hands, both of them.
Ooh.
And that's the movie.
I think this movie needs to be called something like... See, I like... You mentioned YOLO earlier, and I like that. I don't think the movie needs to be called YOLO.
YOLO!
Maybe it is just called fucking YOLO.
YOLO, yikes.
I kind of like that. It fits, is the thing.
It fits this terrible movie.
I don't know. This movie is probably one of the...
He took out all the Fortnite references.
Yeah. I like this movie. I don't know if I like the name YOLO. It fits, is the thing.
Well, hold on. Well,
Okay,
let's think for a second. Let's not stick with YOLO.
Because I was gonna say we could also call it like You Only Die Once, but I feel like that's a lot darker.
But neither of them die.
That's the thing. It could also be Bucket List, but that's already a movie.
Yeah, Bucket List 2.
Bucket List 2, but not is the title.
Yeah, Bucket not.
Bucket.
That's pretty bad.
Bucket instead of fuck it. Maybe it's called. Maybe
funny.
The movie's called The Fuck It List. I don't know if you can have a title where it's not a porno, so I don't think you can have a title have an expletive in it. What if it's F asterisk 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 it list?
No.
So it's still fuck it list. I don't know. Got anything else?
Nope.
I'm spent up on YOLO and fuck it list.
Is it really going to be YOLO? Oh, God. Well, I guess it's YOLO. If y'all can come up with a better one, please let us know.
What if it's just called like...
A meteor's going to hit the Earth and everyone's going to die, the movie.
Yeah. Or like... Las Vegas Living. That sucks.
Yes.
Viva Las Vegas. The Las Vegas meteor.
I think it has to... Well, okay. It needs to reference... Like, it can't be about Las Vegas, even though they end up going there.
Yeah.
Because that's just the place where it all happens.
Yeah, it's the setting of most of the movie.
What about Cratertown Blues?
That's a pretty good name. I like that one a lot. I think maybe not YOLO. Maybe You Only Live Once is the title of the movie. Because that's a little better than YOLO, and that
is a little bit better. I agree. You Only Live Once is better. I think let's go with that.
Okay, let's not waste any more time with the naming. Next film.
Next one.
Our first genre for our next film is Action.
An action movie.
An action, not just an action movie. It is a
Also,
romance action flick.
okay.
That's an interesting concept.
Who are our leads?
Our leads. Okay, let's see. Our first lead is Chris Pratt. It's a good start.
Chris Pratt.
Good start.
Okay.
He's in everything these days. All right, so our second lead
Who's that?
is
Who's that gonna be?
Denzel Washington.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
They're both pretty
So-
good action stars, is the thing. So
That's
we're
right.
pretty set.
Weren't they both in that cowboy movie recently?
The
Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, I almost said the Ridiculous Six. I like how the Ridiculous Six, the Magnificent Seven, and the Hateful Eight all came out at like the exact same time. So
Yeah, it's almost like
hard
they
to
coordinated it.
remember which one's which.
Okay, so we got these two fellas.
First question. Are they the romantic leads? Are they in love with each other?
I mean, they could be. We could do that.
They could be. That'd
very
be
progressive.
interesting. I don't think that's ever been done before. A gay action romance.
Romance. You know, I don't think it has. I'll go out on a limb and say that.
I think this has given us real potential for like the first action Best Picture Oscar win.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess they're in love.
Yeah. Okay, so action, romance.
So where's the action coming from? And maybe here's the thing. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's an action movie first and a romance movie second. So it's kind of like towards the end or towards like the middle point. They're like, we love each other kind of thing. You know?
Yeah. Maybe that is it.
So like they start off and they're like, yeah, we're action partners trying to fight crime, and then by the middle they're like,
They realize that their bond and connection is much closer than that.
I love you, bro. I love you, bro.
Great.
That's not a line in this movie. But kind of along those lines. So where's the action? Like, are they, I know that we have specific genres, but are they spies? Are they, like, where's the action coming from, you know? Are they, like, detectives together and they're, like, trying to solve this? That's a pretty good one. They're both detectives trying to, like, break a big case.
That works.
Okay. Well, I just had a great idea. What if we set up that they're already married
Okay.
and they're detectives together, and then the romance comes from the fact that they feel like everything's so monotonous? The romance isn't new romance, it's re-sparking old romance.
Oh, it's one of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think? What do you like? What do you not like? Give me your ideas.
I'm just trying to figure out how to integrate these two. I like your ideas so far. I don't know. I don't have much to add, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, so they're both detectives. Rekindling old love.
Yeah.
What do you... I don't know. Okay, so... But how does action... I feel like this is more like a mystery. at this point then if they're detectives?
Well, I feel like it can still be action heavy. Like they're trying to solve a mystery, but there's still like these big action set pieces and action scenes where there's like this explosion or whatever. They're like in a high speed pursuit in their like personal car, and they're arguing about the heated seats because they're a long married couple. I don't like the seats turned on high.
It's in the glove box. It's not in the glove box. I would know if it would be in the glove box. Checks the glove box. It's not there. I told you so.
Yeah. So
comedy ensues.
Maybe. So basically, it's got the tinge of mystery. If there were a third genre, it would be mystery.
And then if there was a fourth, it would be comedy.
Yeah, there's going to be comedic moments. I feel like
this is our new action romance mystery comedy.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like starting with like Michael Bay, as much as I hate to say this, he kind of made it mainstream to make action movies have this comedic tinge, it sometimes existed in like the quippy one-liners that they always had, or there's the part in Die Hard where he's crawling through the vent and he's like talking to himself or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's kind of funny.
So it existed, but I feel like Michael Bay brought in this fact that comedy is in action movies now, because now every action movie has like comedy scenes.
Okay, well we won't worry about that. We'll just make this movie. Okay, so let's start from the beginning and try and piece this together then.
Okay.
They're detectives.
They're detectives together. That's how they met.
Together. Detectives together.
That's how they met.
Uh-huh.
They fell in love. They got married. All of this is off screen because they've been married for, I don't know, close to 10 years, whatever. They are in this movie together. They are detectives together. They are married. And then there's...
I feel like we've just been saying the same thing 30 times.
I'm stating the facts.
I've got nothing.
Okay, so do we want it to be like a string of killings, a string of bank robberies, a
serial killer?
Okay, so now we're throwing thriller into the mix of this multi-genre movie.
Let's just dump it all into the vat.
Maybe there's one point where they eat magic mushrooms and then it turns into an animated segment. And then it's... let's try to get every genre.
More of a medium than a genre.
That's true.
What other genres can we get in here?
Are we actually trying to fit every genre into it?
No, not really. Okay, so maybe it doesn't start with the serial killer. Maybe it's like we've got to set up like what their normal life is like.
So we set up.
You were talking about it being mundane.
Yeah.
And kind of like, I had my brain.
Your brain kind of fried out for a second.
It did fry out for a second. All these genres.
Setting up that it be... Sorry, I got the hiccups. That it's mundane.
Yeah, it's got to be that. They have the bickering scenes and stuff.
Yeah. Maybe there's like a short little montage at one point to just kind of demonstrate how mundane it is, showing them going through each day in the exact same way.
Yeah.
Because maybe they
and then this wacky serial killer mixes it up.
Yeah, the super wacky serial killer who like gouges people's eyes out or something.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Very funny. Hilarity ensues. No, it's Why is it always that we can just make like one real solid film and then the other
And
one
then
is just like...
And then it's like, we can't do anything.
It's almost like it's hard to create 2 films every week.
You know, I think that's right.
Oh, this is the last episode.
This is the last episode. Not really. So, they're detectives.
They're detectives.
Very highbrow.
Thanks. They're detectives. They live a mundane life. Let's just lay out the broad plot. Let's not worry about details.
I'm gonna die.
The devil is in the details, buddy.
We've said the details. I don't know what's happening.
No, we don't have the plot. We don't have the base plot.
Well, let's keep working on the plot then.
So
we got that.
So their
serial killer shows up.
Serial killer shows up.
He does a thing.
There's
calling card. They are assigned the case. They are working on the case, and they are growing closer again for reasons. And then they catch him.
That is the general plot. That they're
married. Detectives.
They're married. They're detectives, and then they live a mundane life, and then their serial killer brings them together.
Just pretty macabre, I'll be honest.
And maybe that's... I mean, I don't disagree.
That's where some more comedy comes in.
That's where the funny stuff comes in. They're standing over this horribly mutilated body, and they're talking about mundane things. What if we get it to be directed by Edgar Wright, the guy who did Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz and stuff, which has some pretty funny yet serious tones in all of his movies?
Yeah, let's do that.
God, this is hard, dude. This is hard.
This is rough. What's their names?
That's a good one. I was thinking about that. I was thinking... See, I said Edgar Wright, and I like the name Edgar for, like, Denzel Washington's character.
Okay, Jeff.
Jeff and Edgar.
Sure.
Sick. It's just always say 2 names.
And then we go with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jeff and Edgar... are married,
and they're detectives, and they live a mundane life, and they're brought together by a serial killer.
They live a mundane life. There's a certain way that it's shot. Then
and it's a short montage.
Then there's a killing. They don't know it's a serial killer yet.
Oh God. Okay.
There's a killing, and as they go to investigate it together. While they're driving, there's another like bickering scene, or maybe they're sitting in silence, and you know, maybe Jeff speaks up and he's like, "So how did you sleep last night?" And he's like, "Good." And he's like, "You never talk to me anymore." And then they kind of get into this mini argument, and it continues while they're investigating this murder.
Yeah. Where's the action? We need some action.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that the action was supposed to be.
Maybe it shouldn't be a serial killer. Maybe it should be like a mafia or a mob thing. So that they have to go to bad guy places and shoot the bad guys.
Okay. So, well, maybe... So they're going to a murder, but it's instead of a serial killer, it's a mob hit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same...
They got to do all that, the rigmarole of dealing with that.
They realize that they're investigating while kind of arguing, and then they notice a specific mafia detail. Maybe this guy has like, I don't know, the Italians are weird with specific messages that they send by little things. So maybe there's like a rose on this guy's lapel, which there's
like a note that says it's the mafia. We did it.
We is the
Sorry.
We are the mafia. We did the killing, and it's like and in internet speak. Where
it says sorry, lol.
SRY, lol. So
it says I did it for the. It says I did it for the Vine.
And then they start Fortnite dancing.
Yeah. No, definitely not. Not allowed.
So they figure out it's the mafia. They this is where the first action scene comes in. So we're pretty early into the movie, and they are scouting out the mafia. Maybe they know that the mafia owns a specific nightclub or like something like that.
Who's the mafia boss?
Do we want an actor?
Yeah, let's spin.
Okay. Our mafia boss is Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Yes.
Okay, so we got Bill Murray in this now. It's already feeling better. You know what? It's feeling better, Sam. I feel better about
We're back
this
on track.
So they're staking out this nightclub or whatever
Chris
bar.
Pratt's eating some food. I don't know why this is so comedic. Why not?
Well, it's like, do you ever see the movie Bad Boys with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence? That's kind of the vibes I'm getting.
Okay. But they're in love.
But they're in love, and that's like the biggest difference.
Yeah. I do see that. I think I can already see the dynamic. Like Denzel Washington's more the put together person, and Chris Pratt's Chris Pratt.
Yeah, and
his usual character.
But he's also kind of a little bit more emotional. He's the one who's always harping on Denzel, on Edgar, saying, you know, you never talk with me anymore and stuff like that.
Yeah,
while also being
like
just kind of a goofy guy all around.
Yeah.
So they're scouting out this area. And then they realize that maybe they have to go undercover. They see someone they know go into this bar, or maybe they're looking for an informant, and that's why they're scouting out. So they go into this bar.
Yeah.
And somehow, one way or another, the mafia finds out that they're cops. Maybe they're going to buy drinks, and Chris Pratt's going to buy drinks. And he opens his wallet, and you see the badge, the detective badge, in his wallet.
And then they're like, and then they go, and then there's the first action scene.
Yeah.
Bing, bada, boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Repeat the same scene 3 more times.
Let's repeat it 7 more times.
Yeah. The same scene happens 7 times.
Consecutively.
And then the movie ends.
No, so they have this action scene. They fight in this bar. This is the point in every kind of detective cop action film where the chief says, "You all are too close to this case," or something like that.
You're a loose cannon.
You all are loose cannons. This is the 3rd time this month that you all have caused the city property damage or whatever.
Yeah, something
You
like
all
that.
are off this case. Because that's a classic action trope.
Yeah, maybe then they blame each other.
They blame each
This is
other.
all your fault.
So then, now that they're off the case, this gives it a little bit more time to breathe romantically. There are some romantic gestures that maybe Edgar puts forth.
Yes. He breaks his gruff exterior to show some tenderness.
And then what happens to bring them back into the case is Jeff maybe gets kidnapped by the mob.
Okay. And then he goes to get them back. Bill Murray's there. He's being Bill Murray.
He's being Bill Murray in his extravagant self.
Exactly. He's just being the greatest smartass ever.
Yeah. So then he has to go get him back. Of course, it's going to end in a big shootout.
Yeah. Maybe Edgar gets hurt, and then it's like, that's dramatic.
Yeah, he gets shot in the chest, and
It seems like he's gonna die.
But Jeff cries out for him and runs to his side, and they're sitting talking. And maybe it was established earlier that they have a code word. That's like that means something to them. They're like, don't, maybe before they go into the bar, they're like, don't forget the code word. They don't explain what that means, but there's a code word.
They're like bacon grease.
Something, whatever the code word is. So he says that he's like crying over his what he thinks is his lost lover, and then Edgar says something. He's like, what? And he leans in. Jeff leans in, and Edgar says the code word, and then he knows what that means, and he like kind of rolls over, and Edgar sits up and starts shooting the mob guys.
Yeah, it's like that scene in Return of the Jedi where Princess Leia has a gun and he's like, I love you, and she says I know, and then she shoots the stormtroopers. It's like that.
Yeah. So that happens.
Bill Murray gets shot.
Well, Bill Murray doesn't get shot right then, because then there's going to be an even bigger shootout.
Oh goodness.
Well, yeah, this isn't the main
now
shootout.
They're going to get vengeance.
Well, no, they're in the middle of this kind of
whatever.
They're in the middle of this big mob warehouse. They're surrounded.
How do they not die?
Well, because they have police backup on the way.
Okay.
So then that's where the big shootout happens. Is Bill Murray is standing alone after Edgar shot the other two mob guys with him, and he's monologuing, and he's like, I've got this warehouse is filled with 50 of my men, my best men, and they all have awesome guns, or whatever he would say. We don't write the dialogue, we just get the main plot
That's
line.
right, we get the ideas.
So he's saying whatever, he's waffling to these people, and then Edgar says some sort of punchy one-liner like, "Oh, well, I'll have what she's having," and then like police helicopters lower SWAT men down.
He goes, "What did you say?
What did
that
you
doesn't
wait?
make any sense here." It throws him off his game.
Throws him off his game. And then the backup arrives, and then there's like this big shootout. There's the shootout where like they're covering each other, and then they're also trying to arrest Bill Murray. Maybe that's his name in the movie as well.
I doubt it's Bill Murray.
What if it's a fictionalized version of the actor Bill Murray? So he's playing Bill Murray, who just happens to be a mob boss in this universe.
Definitely not. Definitely no.
Well, he's following this mafioso boss. They're like trying to arrest him, and it gets to the point where, you know, they're on the roof. They all have guns.
Says,
you're not so.
He says you're not so different. It has to be in every episode, or is it really an elevator pitch episode?
Yeah. So that happens. And then they what? Should they kill him or catch him?
They catch him.
Okay. So then.
And then at the end, he like slumps down because he's very tired from all this, and he says something like, we need to go on a vacation or whatever.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Bill Murray.
Not Bill Murray.
I was a little confused. I was like, why is Bill Murray talking about a vacation? But yeah, that's kind of. And then the last scene is them and like on a beach drinking pina coladas or something.
Yeah.
Some sort of beach drink out of a coconut.
Exactly.
And then they share a nice, quick, beautiful peck on the lips, and they smile as the sunset as the credits roll.
It's beautiful.
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 Now we need a title for this movie. Okay. What if it's YOLO?
Definitely not.
No. I don't know. What if it's... God. There's got to be something.
Bacon grease.
Bacon
whatever
grease.
their code word is. And it's very confusing why it's called that.
What if it's...
But then you know why eventually.
What if it's called, like, Detective Love?
Yeah, that's better.
What the hell?
Excuse you.
My dog barked and it scared the hell out of me.
Detective Love
Is that really it? That can't be it.
That's definitely not it.
Love and Order instead of Law and Order.
That's good.
That's fucking... Oh my God. That one just hit me like a freight train.
Love and Order. There we go.
Oh, that just hit me like a freight train. Okay.
There we go.
That's
now perfect. We got to pitch them.
Yep. Now it's time to pitch these movies.
You Only Live Once. Two scientists, Mary and Catherine, played by Barbara Streisand and Amanda Seyfried, discover that a meteor is on collision course with the Earth. After being instructed to keep it a secret, they decide the best course of action is to live their lives to the fullest. After all, you only live once.
Short, sweet, and to the point. I like that.
That's right.
I like that.
Like a bite-sized Kit Kat.
All right. Beautiful. All right, here's mine. Love and Order. These two detectives argue like a married couple, but that's because they are one. Detectives Edgar and Jeff, Denzel Washington and Chris Pratt, have to deal with the mafia while also finding their old spark. This action-packed romance has a little something for everyone.
Another short one.
Another short and sweet one.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys. Those descriptions were a little shorter than they usually are, but, you know, we didn't want to fluff them up. We just wanted to get what we needed.
Get off our backs.
Get off our backs. Get off my back, Mom.
Okay, now comes the part of the show where we decide which one of these we think would actually get made.
Yeah. I'm not
honestly
gonna lie.
Don't know.
I'm not gonna lie. They're both pretty bad.
I mean, that's every movie we make.
It's almost like randomly generating movies does not ever really give you a good idea.
You know, it's almost like that is the case, isn't it?
But if there was one to be made, I think You Only Live Once is probably the more likely.
I'll agree with that.
It's not the best movie ever. It would probably get like a 50 to 60 on Rotten Tomatoes. It would be dumped in January or February,
exactly.
It would be forgotten by the next year.
Yeah. But I agree with you there.
Love and Order just seems like a bad idea.
I mean, we really didn't put... It's kind of just a rough skeleton at this point, so it's hard to even imagine what the movie
it was kind of hard to figure it out, is the big thing. Is that,
Well,
romance.
Here's some things we did know.
Yeah.
We did know that they were detectives. And that they had a
mundane
life,
relationship, yeah.
And then that was going to get spiced up. That's what we did know.
That's what we did know. And that's basically the movie. And maybe that's why we struggled so hard, is because that's just the movie.
That's the movie. And that's the show.
Yeah, that's going to be it for the elevator pitch. We made our decisions, but of course we're going to leave it up to you at home. You can go and check out the posters that we made and cast your vote on our social media. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at TEP_pod. That's where we post the pictures of the posters. And on Instagram right now is where we do the polls. Like I said at the beginning of the show, share us with your friends. And of course, leave a review and rating and tell us how you like the show. We just love to hear from you. But that's about all I have to say. We will see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.